Hey there, welcome to IQuanta's YouTube channel. Today I'll be discussing a question that has been asked so many times that I lost count, and that is the most important topics for quant. Now, in the previous videos of you must have seen any video at this channel or any other channel, you must have come across one particular thing that arithmetic and algebra form the majority of quantitative aptitude section. So around 70% of questions belong to these two, what do you call, units, chapters? Not chapters, but the entire units, arithmetic and algebra. So as I said, they are not chapters, but the entire units. In these two units, there are multiple chapters. Every chapter has multiple topics. Every topic has multiple subtopics. Every subtopic has concepts and subconcepts. So there is so much branching of ideas in mathematics, that is QA, quant, in CAT, that one seems, one feels very kind of pressurized or tedious to actually understand what has to be avoided and what has not to be avoided at any cost. So that is what I'm discussing today. What I did when people asked me, be it Facebook, be it WhatsApp, be it Telegram, be it even on calls, Reddit, everywhere, people ask that what is actually CAT and what is the selective study for CAT. Like in the boards and college exams, you must have gone through selective study. You leave some chapters, read some chapters. In CAT, is it possible? I would say it's not entirely possible in CAT, but it's also not entirely impossible, lies somewhere in between. So what I did, I analyzed last 10 years papers of CAT, and based on that observation, this is a statistically I derived that certain things which you cannot avoid, because in every year, in every slot, like we have 3 slots in CAT, every slot, there are some topics from which questions are asked. At least one question is asked. I'm going to discuss that. So this is something which is going to mother of your CAT quant, and rest everything will be daughters maybe. Okay, so let's go there. By the way, subscribe, like, share this with your friends, and if you want more such insightful videos, statistically driven videos, just put in the comments and I will make that. Important topics. Algebra, oh, rest is gone. Let's see. Arithmetic, percentages, profit and loss, allegation and mixture. All right. So it says percentages have like 2 to 3 questions you can expect, that because that is what, and this entire year, not the slot. Percentages, and here we have profit and loss. Then we have allegation and mixture. Now you will be thinking that why these 3 topics only? Where is time, speed, and distance? Where is time and work? Okay, let's discuss that. So, and also, profit and loss is assumed to be a part of percentages only, but in reality, profit and loss is the application of percentages. All right. So, how would we kind of differentiate between a question which is totally percentage based or profit and loss based? By the way, every profit and loss question is essentially a percentage question. Let's see. So if I ask, something like a very simple problem, let's say there are 2 schemes, okay? 2 schemes of investment, scheme A and scheme B. I'm not solving the question here, but I'm just giving an example. What happens that scheme A, what happens after 8 years, the money becomes 16 times. And here, this is giving a rate of interest, ROI. Here is, let's say, 24%. Then which scheme is better? Okay. Now, these kind of questions, you will say it belongs to simple interest, compound interest. Not really. It's basically the percentage growth that we're talking about. This question is a percentage-based question, but not a profit-loss-based question. In profit-loss-based questions, the terminology of profit, loss, yield, gain, decline, markup price, cost price, selling price, list price, discounts, all those things will be mentioned somewhere. That is what makes the profit and loss question. So in one slot, you can expect one question from percentage and one from profit and loss. Average, mixtures, allegation. So when they say allegation, allegation and mixture, allegation is nothing but weighted average. In my previous video of CAT 26, I discussed that. Weighted average. I'll tell you what it actually means. So let's say there are 5 people in front of me and they have some ages, they're different ages. I want to find the average age, which happens in the B schools also. When you have heard what is the average age of IIM Ahmedabad MBA students, 27 something. So how do they come to it? They add all the ages, divide by number of students. Simple. Weighted average is entirely different. I'll show you how. So let's say there are subjects, subject A, subject B, subject C, and subject D. Now weightage of subject A is 40%. Weightage of subject B is 40% again. Weightage of subject C is 10%, and that of D is 10%. Now, even a brilliant example that comes to mind on the fly is the selection procedure. See, in this video, I'm discussing various things. I'm telling you the important topics, the examples, the questions, and also a very relevant example. Selection procedure of any IIM. So, the CAT score, let's say the weightage is 25%. It's normally 25 to 35%. Normally, this is a real data. Let's say the weightage for personal interview is 40%. Weightage of WAT, AWT in IIM Ahmedabad's case, otherwise it's WAT, writing ability test. In IIM Ahmedabad, it is analytical writing test. Let's say this is 5% weightage. 25, 40, 5, overall we have 70 already, remaining 30. Let's say work experience has percentage weightage of 5%. Academics has 5%. All right, so there can be multiple things. So this is, what? So this is the weightage. It means that even if you score, let's say in CAT raw score is 100, normalized score is 100, then only 25 will be counted there. Okay. Let's say in personal interview, your score is, let's say 80 out of 100, for example, then they will be counting 40% of it, that is 32. So now you understand, whenever we need to find the average in this way, where every data element has some kind of weightage attached to it, that is what weighted average actually means. And an allegation is a tool to calculate the weighted average quickly. All right. So this third is average mixtures allegations. Now in mixtures, allegation is generally used. So you will expect one question at least in every slot from average mixture or allegation. You cannot leave these 3 topics at any cost. You should not leave other topics also, but these 3 should not leave. Well, then comes algebra. Linear equation is what we focus on a lot. Even students focus on. But quadratic equation is something which I have seen in every slot every year. In fact, once I saw even 2 questions of quadratic equation in exactly one slot. The other was not just quadratic, it was a mix of numbers and quadratic. So here you will expect 2 to 3 questions. Very important. Quadratic equation in itself is a huge chapter. It involves the roots of the quadratic equation. It involves nature of the roots, discriminant. It involves reversal of roots, reciprocal of roots, transformation of roots. It also involves nested loops. You know what is nested loop? For example, a question like this, square root of 2 plus, so you see, the square roots are inside the biggest square root till infinity. This is also solved by quadratic equation. So this is a huge chapter, multiple subtopics here, you cannot leave it. Second, sequence and series. Every year, in every slot, you will find one question. It can be either arithmetic progression, geometric progression, or any miscellaneous sequence, like telescopic series is there, series based on partial fractions is there, series based on infinite GPs are there, arithmetico-geometric progressions are there, power series are there. So there are so many series. This chapter, which looks like just single chapter, it has got so many different concepts. You cannot leave any because there will be one question at least in every slot. Third, sorts and indices. This is basically the fundamental of algebra, building blocks of algebra. A to the power m, okay. It can be an index or a sort defined based on a definition. And here, there's a very famous question, a very famous example. 2 to the power 1 by 2, 3 to the power 1 by 3, 5 to the power 1 by 5. or range in ascending order? You can tell me in the comments also. This question is from surds. You can expect such questions. It also involves questions related to finding the square root of irrational mixed surds. That's also a possibility. So there are multiple things which can be asked. I have actually compiled 2 different classes for surds and indices at IQuanta. Logarithms. It's the natural progression from surds and indices. So let's say a to the power n is equal to b. All right, that means log of b at base a is equal to n. You know, seems simple, isn't it? But the kind of properties that log has, and log is the, I would say, the most ancient calculator known to humankind, developed by John Napier, if I'm not wrong. Well, so logs, very, very, very important. Cannot leave this, these 4 topics. Then comes geometry. Triangles, expected questions 1 to 2, circles. These 2 are the most important ones. Then comes number system, remainders and divisibility. So last year, in every slot, we had 1 question each of numbers that was of remainders. Simple question. Cannot leave that. In remainders, there are multiple things. Divisibility rules, cyclicity of remainders, last digit, last 2 digits, Chinese remainder theorem, which is actually Bodhayan Sutra, Wilson's theorem, Fermat's little theorem, multiple things. Okay, modulo functions, that comes in remainders and divisibility, cannot leave that. Honorable mentions. So these topics are there in which you can expect, you know what, there is a high probability in 70% of cases you'll expect a question from these topics: time, speed and distance, time and work, modulus and inequalities, quadrilaterals. So time, speed and distance here, their favorite is relative motion. Okay, someone is swimming in the river wearing a cap. Let's say Dinchak Pooja was wearing a swag wala topi and she was swimming in the river. The cap fell, she didn't realize it, being high maybe. After 1 hour, she realized, she turned back. So all those questions, they're very brilliant questions. But the probability, like I would say, they honorable mentions, because you can expect a question from that. Okay, but the things that I mentioned before this slide, you cannot skip that at all. Do not skip this as well. But those are the mother of all the questions. Time and work. So in limited time frame, how many people can do how much work? All these calculations they come from arithmetic, this time and work. Third is from algebra, modulus and inequalities. This is a brilliant topic because whatever you do in equations, things go haywire, things, complicate themselves. You might go bonkers if you leave this. You cannot leave this. Fourth is quadrilaterals. Any figure that has 4 sides, you can expect a question from this. Honorable mention. By the way, let's see. I have, written down all the chapters the last 3 years. If you see, what I discussed is totally true. Average, ratio, mixture, alligation. 3 to 5 questions, 4 to 6 questions, 3 to 5 questions. Combining all the slots. Profit and loss, SICI, percentages. 1 to 3, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. TST, time and work. 3 to 5, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. Now, this is time, speed, distance, time and work. Both combined is 3 to 5, 2 to 3. That is why it has an honorable mention. Geometry, 3, 3, 2 to 3. They belong to triangles and mensuration. Quadratic, polynomial, simple equations. 1 to 3, 3 to 4, 1 to 2. Sequence series, 1 to 3, 2, 1 to 2. Inequalities, modulus and functions. 3 to 4, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. It has functions as well. That is why it comes under the honorable mentions. Logarithm, surds and indices, 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 2. Probability and PNC, they hardly ask. They have not asked questions on probability from last few years, but that doesn't mean they will not ask it. Okay? If something has not happened, it doesn't mean it will not happen. Okay, so, and Murphy's law says, if something can happen, it will happen. Am I confusing you? Let's make it simple. Basically, they are not asking probability questions from last few years, but if they ask, don't be surprised. PNC is there, 1, 1, 0 to 1 questions. Number system, 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Venn diagrams, they did not ask anything, but they asked it in through sets they can ask, but there won't be Venn diagram totally. That will come under LRDI. By the way, probability, I told you that if you know it is not asked in quant, but in LRDI there was a set in which they asked probability. So LRDI also has quant based puzzles. If it skips quant, it will go into quant based puzzles. So that is why now you know what is important and what is not. Accordingly, plan your timetable, plan your preparation. If you need more data or more help or more guidance in this, tell me in the comments and I will get back to you. Now look into percentiles. See, why it is important to jot down the important chapters. The reason is because if someone last year got 32 marks in quant, which essentially translate to 11 questions, 11 correct, 1 wrong, 25 marks in 23, which translates to around 8 questions, 33 marks, which is 11 questions, 34 marks, again around 11 questions. This is not valid because it was 78 marks paper. So look at this, 11, 8, 11, 11, even the highest is 11. So if you want to score 99th percentile in quant, looking at the historical data, we have come across that even less than 50% of paper is required to be solved. And that is why we need a proper guidance that how many questions we have to do and what topics are the most important ones. From there, the questions will always be there. If this help you, like it, subscribe it, and also tell me in the comments if you have any doubts regarding anything under the sun or even over the sun around CAT. Last batch is launched, which will be having 1300 plus hours of videos. 500 plus students scored 99th percentile last year. Okay, 35 full-length mocks, 45 sectional mocks. These are the brilliant pool of faculty members who are going to teach you across all these subjects, be it VARC, all right, LRDI, or quant. All right. He is the founder. Okay, so all of us are kind of dedicated to our students to solve all the doubts, to teach all the concepts, and be with you whenever you require it. I'll see you in the classes. Thank you.
आई होप यू एंजॉयड दिस वीडियो। अब मैं आपको एक शॉकिंग फैक्ट बताता हूँ। ये डेटा जो आपकी स्क्रीन पे शो कर रहा है कि IQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल के 60% व्यूअर्स चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते। सब्सक्राइब ना करने का रीजन ये हो सकता है कि यार एनीवे जो ब्राउज फीड है उस पर तो वीडियो आ ही जाता है, बट सब्सक्राइब क्यों करना चाहिए वो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ। IQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल का अगर आप प्लेलिस्ट सेक्शन देखोगे, यहाँ पे आपको बहुत सारी यूजफुल प्लेलिस्ट मिलेंगी। अगर आपका अरिथमेटिक वीक है तो ये आप अरिथमेटिक प्लेलिस्ट यहाँ पे चेकआउट कर सकते हो। ज्योमेट्री वीक है तो ज्योमेट्री प्लेलिस्ट चेकआउट कर सकते हो। अलजेब्रा में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो अलजेब्रा प्लेलिस्ट। एंड नॉट जस्ट दिस, अभी करंटली जो प्लेलिस्ट चल रहा है वो बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट 200 क्वेश्चंस का एंड RC 100 वाला प्लेलिस्ट जो शबाना मैम का है। ये सारे जो प्लेलिस्ट के वीडियोस होते हैं इन पे उतने ज्यादा व्यूज नहीं होते बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली जो पढ़ने वाली जनता है वो बहुत कम है, बट अगर आप उनमें से एक हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लो। रेगुलर बेस पे इन प्लेलिस्ट का वीडियो आता रहता है, आपकी फीड में आपको सबसे पहले दिखेगा। एंड नॉट जस्ट दिस, अब जो आने वाला टाइम है उसमें आपका कैट का फॉर्म आएगा, देन डिफरेंट एग्जाम्स के फॉर्म आएंगे, अलग अलग तरीके के नोटिफिकेशन आएंगे। जैसे ही कोई अपडेट कैट 25 से रिलेटेड आता है सबसे पहले वो अपडेट आपको IQuanta यूट्यूब चैनल पर मिलने वाला है। तो डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल।